Hi guys, welcome back to another video, and to this guitar. This is a 2017 Mexican Roadworn Jazzmaster with a couple of upgraded and changed bits. I think what we'll do, we'll go over the spec of the guitar and then I'll come back and sort of say, you know, how I found it, what I think of Jazzmasters, how I would use them, that sort of thing. So coming in close then, you have a older body and it is finished in nitro, and I'll just try and get some of the sort of road wear that comes from factory. They do vary a little bit. Some of them are really heavily worn and some of them not so much. And I think people, you know, over the time these have been owned have added sort of extra relic, but this one is what it is. Going on to the neck then, this one was the Palfero transition era in 2017, but it has been treated and darkened off. But it feels pretty good, looks not too bad. You got vintage narrow frets on there. The 60s style Jazzmaster headstock with the sort of Clousson style Fender top loading machine heads just there. The neck profile on this is just like that perfect 60s Strat feeling neck, and is one of the highlights of the guitar for me. As are these pickups. These are the American vintage 65 pickups and they sound awesome, to be fair. On this guitar it does have a upgraded stay trem bridge as well. And the scratch plate, as you can probably see, has been changed from white to tortoiseshell. The original scratch plate and bridge is included, and I can swap them back, you know, if someone wanted me to, etc. But you know, the stay trem bridge on these and the Jaguars is an expensive but very, very good upgrade. I mean, I've strummed the hell out of this and, you know, messed around with the tremolo, and I've not had any of the usual typical Jazzmaster Jaguar bridge issues. Tuning stability wise with this bridge, anyone who watched my Fender Bigsby Telecaster video a few weeks back, I wouldn't say this is quite as stable as that, because that thing was, you didn't even know the Bigsby was fitted. But my sort of bar, shall we say, of how stable a trem is would I trust it at a gig, and this guitar gets a pass for that. It's definitely stable enough that I would trust it at a gig. And it is set up to float sort of both ways. Anyone who didn't know, if you haven't got a lock on the bridge, you can just tighten that screw down and effectively lock it from being pulled backwards, if that makes sense. Anyone who watched Colin's recent video with his Jag, he did that trick on his Jaguar, and it's well worth knowing if you're sort of put off by that style tremolo on one of these guitars. Controls though, a little bit simpler than a Jaguar. You just got this three-way switch here for bridge, middle and neck, middle being both of course, and then you do have the rhythm circuit with the volume and tone, which we'll take a look at in a bit. So I think before we get onto the sounds then, I'm just going to say how I would use a Jazzmaster, and for me, I always look at a Jazzmaster as it's much more of a textural type of instrument. It just adds little bits of texture and flavour to a song. That's why I did the intro today. I just picked this up and that's where it sort of took me. It wanted to have a piano and strings and just add sort of flavour to that, if that makes sense. And that's not to take away from the Jaguar as a sound, an instrument in its own right. It's just for me, as a guy who sticks to Strats and Les Pauls, that's how I would use a Jazzmaster or a Jaguar, to be fair. I consider them in that vein, but we are going to have a look at this guitar in isolation now. All links below, as usual, are down below. And next week, finally, we're going to be looking at a Silver Sky SE, and Steve will be back on the channel with that one as well. So, you know, I hope everyone has a good bank holiday, and I'll see you on the next video.